Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Critical Reactions with your host, Bryan. We're going to be finishing up this week's new releases theme with a band I have been dying to get on this channel. I'm so happy to finally have them on here proper. I was introduced to them during one of the Patreon live streams. I don't remember how long ago it was. It wasn't too recent, but not too long ago. Maybe like June. The band is sokoninaru. And I was blown away when I heard whatever song it was. It's in my list. I have a folder of like 200 bands and songs I need to visit that I have just really enjoyed over the couple of years of doing this. Anyways, though, this song is called "vermisst," and yeah, let's dig into it. Let's see what they got up to today.
凡人は凡人懸命に生きてきたんだ報われたくないと言えば嘘
Yeah, so far it's all over the place. Yeah, I'm loving those synchronized guitar and bass double taps. Ah, they didn't really stick with it. That's a shame. I like how the guitars are filling in where we normally hear a drum fill, so that's really interesting. This song is full of little distractions, and I'm loving it. Yeah, that harmony is beautiful. Oh, my tears. Oh, man. Wait, so holy cow. I mean, it's a short song. It's only 2:45, but still, it feels like we've only been listening for a minute. I didn't even have time to throw this up. Let's see. There we go. I didn't even have time to put that up. Like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that stuff. Let's get into this analysis. So this is definitely a song filled up with little hold up moments. Wait a minute, what's that over there? It's very super attention grabbing, constantly changing its mind and direction, not really sticking around with anything actually. And normally that really just doesn't work for me. The song is 100% highly disjointed. But to me, for whatever reason, in this song, it carries a lot of that characteristic into its novelty factor. And it becomes something that is disjointed but entertaining. And I think that's a very, very fine line to walk. There are a few bands that I know of that kind of do this a lot, just really tossing 15 ideas into a song and running with it. And for the most part, they don't really work for me. It's usually because I'm looking for more storytelling direction in a song, but for whatever reason, and I really wish I could put my finger on it and explain exactly why this works for me, but the really interesting thing about music is that there isn't always an explanation for why things work. And yeah, for me, I'm just really digging this chaotic mess of a song. And I don't know, maybe after I start talking about things, I'll come to a conclusion about it, but just right now, I my mind is blown. I have no idea why I enjoyed this so much. Now, of course, there's a novelty factor for a first listen, and I think this is just something that can't be neglected when talking about the song. The first time you listen to this, you can't know what you're in store for. I mean, well, okay, let me take it back. I've only heard one other song from them, and it was also chaotic. I was expecting something chaotic, but maybe longtime listeners will have more of a feel for their writing style, and a lot of this might be a little bit more predictable for a longtime listener. But for most people, I'd wager this song is completely sweeping you off your feet. You feel like you're in a whirlwind. You never know what's left and what's right, where to get off, where to get on. It's just a chaotic mess of audio. And I've talked about in the past how much I love novelty. I love having my expectations set up and destroyed and having the rug swept out from under me. That novelty factor of not knowing where something is or is going is it's something that I value. And I understand that much like any media after exposure to it, that novelty will wear off over time. And something like this, it's incredibly dense, but also incredibly short. So it would only take about 2 or 3 listens until I'm ready for pretty much every twist and turn the song has, and that's going to wear off at that point. And I am interested where the song will sit at that moment. When that novelty and fun factor is gone, how will the song stand up after that? So that's something I'm going to have to explore in the future because I will definitely be giving this another listen to. Probably right after I make this video because I am enthralled with it. But like I said, that's something that you can't ignore. That is definitely part of the process in listening to this music. Is that if I'm coming to it only for that novelty factor, it will diminish over time, and I may not enjoy what's left. With that said, though, let's look at some of the things they are doing other than just being random and seeing where a lot of this stuff lines up. First of all, tons of duets in a sense. Some of it's harmony, some of it's counterpoint, some of it is, trading back and forth, call and response kind of stuff. But they're always thinking in terms of two and sometimes three. But the third part would be the drums, and that's rhythmically speaking. But as far as stuff like melody lines, harmonizing, elements like that with pitches. Most of these sections are either doing call and response, harmonizing on top of each other, or performing counterpoint. And we see this all over the place. In fact, within the first 30 seconds, I think we heard all three of these. Even just focusing on the vocals alone, we had the part where the male vocalist was singing his line. The female vocalist came in with like 3 or 4 syllables, and then two bars off, and then like 2 or 3 syllables again. And that was a sort of counterpoint. They were both not really doing two melodies, but playing two different things that were overlapping and intertwining with each other. And then we had harmonies in the chorus. They were harmonizing the same melody line. And that's just in the vocals. The guitar and bass are constantly playing off of each other. The entire song is written with those two instruments in mind and how their different timbres and ranges can play off of and amplify each other. Whether it's a simple call and response like there at the end when they were panning the guitar versus the bass and doing very similar lines but just an octave apart, or whether they are harmonizing with each other and playing the exact same line, or doing two completely things that are overlapping and intertwining, and doing this counterpoint idea. The guitar and bass are just always playing off of each other. And we can even see this idea in the drums as well. We can see a lot of rhythmic elements where maybe the vocals and drums line up rhythmically, or the guitar and drums, or the bass and drums, or all three of them line up to do the same thing. This idea of, a lack of singularity is present in this entire track. And it's something that I noticed when I listened to the other song during the live stream as well. Their style of writing is just the complete opposite of any sort of personal spotlight. There is always this idea of how can this be amplified with someone else. And I love that. It never feels like any instrument is ever doing one job, or any instrument is pulling the song, or any instrument is the lead. Everybody is working together to build the song. It is a unified whole, and the reduction in any of the instruments, whether it's just the volume reduction, pushing them down in the mix, or removing them entirely, will disrupt the song to a point that it no longer is what it's supposed to be. And I just love that. It is in stark contrast to other three-person bands where they tend to single out each instrument to doing its own thing. The bass is the bass line. It is the low end, and it will play, maybe walk a bass line, or maybe play root notes under the guitar's chords. The guitar fills the sound. The drums play the rhythm. The vocals have the melody. Everything has a specific job, and almost all the songs are written like that. And this is just such a stark difference. They have three very distinct instruments, but that combined with their two voices, they make sure that everything is utilized as a lead instrument, that everything is utilized to amplify the song itself, and that nobody ever does anything by themselves. There is always help and support with the other voices, and it is just phenomenal to hear music written like this that can become so dense and complicated despite the simplicity of the group. The only thing I think they could add is if the drummer threw in vocals too. And while it sounds like chaos to me, I'm sure they could pull it off. I can't imagine adding another voice to what they already have, but something tells me that these masterminds would be able to do it elegantly and effortlessly. And I think that's one of the things that really draws me to them is the effortlessness. They make everything look so easy. They have so many notes. Everybody's playing so virtuosically. Nobody's really just, laying down a single note. Everybody's putting in the work, being masters of their instrument, or instruments for the vocalists as well. And there's so many notes being crammed into such a small song, but it never feels crowded. There's never anybody's toes being stepped on, or instruments that are playing over another and making it muddy, or one instrument can't be heard, or the sound gets a bit distorted because there's so much going on in a specific beat. None of that. It's done so perfectly, so cleanly. The mix is so good. The music has space for everybody to do their thing, and it's just. And then, of course, you watch them play and they make it look like nothing. The dude does like these crazy taps, and while he's doing that, he like brushes the hair out of his face, like, oh, geez, I wish I was doing something a little more, strenuous, that I can't think about my hair while I'm doing it. And the effortlessness of it all, they just make it look so easy. Just fascinating. Now, musically, the structure of the song is interesting because it does follow a fairly simple pattern. If you ignore all the, hey, hold up a second, moments when they decide to just inject a two beat idea that fits nothing else around it. When you take that out, it's a rather simple idea. We got a verse and a chorus, and they kind of bounce back and forth between those, and there's a bit of an intersection, so we can even call that a bridge, and they cram it all into just 160 minutes, 160 seconds. Um, so the song structure isn't anything interesting. What really intrigues me, and what I think most people are going to be drawn to, is the hold up moments where they just like, hey, what's that over there? All right, we're back to our regular program stuff. Here we go. And the way that they can sort of inject some of it and make it feel pretty good. Specifically, I think I would look at the chorus for this section where they utilize guitar riffs in the same way that a drummer would use a drum fill. And I think that is a very interesting way to go about writing. We usually utilize drum fills to transition from one pattern, usually a 4-bar phrase or an 8-bar phrase, into the repetition of itself. It helps provide a sort of reset and a clean delineation of where the next pattern begins or where the repetition begins, and it allows each repetition to have a bit of nuance to it to differentiate itself, as the drummer may utilize a different fill for each pattern ending. Drummers also use fills to move from one idea to the next. We might use a fill to move out of the verse into the chorus, and it is a transitory idea. Here, the main chorus line is the loop, it's the repetition, it's the riff, it's the lick. But instead of using a drum to move between and reset the loop, the guitar and bass for the first 2 repetitions provide a very quick riff in the same way that the drummer would use a fill. And on the 3rd and 4th time, the drummer gets his fill, and it is also just done really well. The one that really sticks out to me is it seems fairly simple, but there's a lot of precision and expertise in the way that I think the drummer's a he. Anyways, that they run down the kit. It's pretty standard, coming down the toms from the highest to the lowest, doing like 16th note rolls or something, just really quick. But there's a lot of precision to it. The spacing between the notes, it's very, very precise and clean. I love it. But it's interesting how we see the guitar and bass perform that role first, and then they pass it on to the drums, who we usually expect to be the ones doing it, while the guitars and bass continue to push a melody line or to move the song along with a chord progression or something like that. So I think that's a section that really stands out to me, that every 5 or 10 seconds we are hearing a random guitar lick come in that acted as a drum roll or a drum fill. Not every section is as cleanly integrated as that, such as that super groovy line that comes in for a whole 2 bars and then is completely ditched. It happens twice, actually. It almost feels like insult to injury. The first time I was just a little, oh, maybe, that kind of sucked. I like where that was going, and we didn't go in that direction. We went back to sort of where the verse was leading us into the chorus. And the second time it comes around, I'm like, oh, it was foreshadowing. Now we're going to get it. Oh, yeah, you didn't do it again, did you? Ugh. But that's the fun of the chaos. You never know what you're going to get. Sometimes you're going to get set up and really love what comes out of it, like that chorus, and sometimes you're not. And you really just got to go along with the roll of the die. Or I guess the chaos of the mind. Since this is all written in, it's not luck based what's going to happen. They've planned it out. But yeah, I love this. I don't know what else I could really talk about. I'd have to give it another go. Like I said, it's an incredibly dense song for being so short. And my big takeaway, I think the easy surface read is just the chaos, but there's definitely something buried underneath, I think, that provides a bit of cohesion that I didn't pick up on for a first listen, because I am really loving this despite it seeming disjointed. And I'm not typically a fan of disjointed songs, so I'm certain there's something underneath going on that ties it all up neatly into a cohesive idea, even if on the surface it doesn't feel like that. And that also could just be part of their expertise. It's part of that thing that I really love about them, is that they do this and make it look so effortless, but that somewhere underneath the surface, this idea of chaos is actually extremely controlled and actually ordered in some way that provides a nice listening experience for someone like me who prefers a bit of order in their music. Anyways, those are my thoughts on sokoninaru. Vermisst, that's where you guys come in though. Hit me up in the comments. Let me know what you thought of this. Like I said, I've been waiting a long time to get them on the channel proper and doing a full analysis on them. And I look forward to checking them out more, possibly on the channel again or just on my own time, and really digging into more of why the music works so well. But let me know if you enjoyed this and if this was a good pick for me. I'm going to do it anyways. I don't care. But I'm really curious if everybody else loves this as much as I do, or if it's just really handcrafted for me. When you're done commenting, you can head up to the description box. There's a Linktree link that takes you to a menu with everything associated with the channel. Whether you want to join the Discord community, support me through Patreon, or follow me on Twitter, submit your own special selection, any of it. It's all in there in a real nice menu with icons, and it's pretty. It's much better than a bunch of text that with URLs hyperlinked that I used to have. Above that, you can like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'll be back on Monday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 9 p.m. UTC, with next week's theme. I know that's a bit different. We're doing the special selections on Tuesdays and Thursdays now. And the weekends we will be taking off. We'll be doing Monday through Friday stuff. It is all in a bit of effort to sort of reorganize and restructure what Critical Reactions is moving forward. We're moving into Critical Reactions version 2.0. I've already addressed the Discord server. I've cleaned it up. I've removed a bunch of redundant servers. I've merged some stuff that needs to get merged. It is nowhere near as chaotic as it used to be, and I hope it's a little bit more manageable, especially for newcomers. So that was step 1. Step 2 is going to be more stuff. There's going to be like 6 steps. We're doing everything. Everything's getting an overhaul with Critical Reactions 2.0. So yeah, look forward to more news. I'll be having a channel update soon, and also probably do some community posts for smaller things. Keep an eye on all of that if you're interested. If you're just here for the reactions, don't worry about it. they'll still come out. You'll still get 7 a week. You just get a weekend to take some time off or to catch up on stuff you missed. Anyways, I'm rambling. Let's close this up. I'll see you guys Monday. Until next time, remember, be critical, not cynical, of the music you listen to. Have a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening, whenever you choose to watch my videos. Yeah.